Anne and Owen are with me. Later, it's the papers and everything else we need to talk about, find out where the most haunted place in Britain is. Before we move on, let's take a look back at more of the news on this day. And it was on this day in 1987 that Michael Fish delivered the most infamous weather forecast of all time.
Good afternoon to you. Earlier on today, apparently a woman rang the BBC and said she heard that there was a hurricane on the way. Well, if you're watching, don't worry, there isn't.
So we thought we'd just go into because we're in the ITN building and the ITN has an amazing archive, and we thought we'd go and grab some bits of archive. And of course,
so funny because my partner who's from Brazil was asking, has a hurricane ever hit Britain? And I literally 2 days ago cited the notorious Michael Fish incident and then the great storm which happened and all the destruction that it caused.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see. That's just odd because, anyway, that's what we talked about at length.
So the Great Storm of 87 struck during the 15th and 16th of October. It was the biggest storm to hit the UK for almost 300 years, with winds of 100 miles an hour. Interestingly, Mr. Fish is very sensitive if you ask him, because he presumably
I can imagine.
Well,
yeah,
I think you've got to embrace it.
There, that's why.
You've got to embrace it, right? So if you say to him, oh, you missed the old hurricane, he says, it was not a hurricane, it was a storm.
Oh, wasn't it I thought it was a sort of...
He gets cross. But Anne, that was the year you were first elected, wasn't it, in Maidstone?
Indeed, it was very soon after I entered Parliament, well, a few months after I entered Parliament, and it made a massive difference to my constituency because if you think of Kent as it used to be a sea of hops, and all the hop wires blew down, and because it wasn't very profitable, most farmers did not go back, so it completely changed the landscape.
Wow. And Owen is suggesting there could be some sort of tie in between you being elected and Britain being hit by a massive storm. But all joking apart...
I call her Hurricane Anne, and I think there are lots of parallels between Anne and the Great Storm of 1987.
But joking apart, if that storm happened now, there would be a lot of conspiracy theories, wouldn't there?
What do you mean?
Well, there'd be people saying it's been caused by vaccine or something.
Possibly, or Bill Gates injecting something. But, I mean, is it just because they did improve, they had to improve their mathematical models and all the likes afterwards, because it was quite embarrassing.
It was. There we are. That's our... We're going to keep doing a bit of On This Day, just to reach back into our brilliant archive for you. Now, I'd love your calls on this. Should everyone still be working in their 80s? 0207 862 2222. Tell us what you think about this. So we're asking this because the Hollywood legend Harrison Ford has revealed he's going to keep making movies, even though he's 82. He says his work gives him essential... Is that Callista Flockhart with him? No, who is that? His work gives him essential human contact, he says. So it's whether or not we just plough on. And I'm hoping you will say, yes, I'm going to.
Yes, indeed. And I recall that when I was an employment minister, we're going back to 1993, I held a competition to find Britain's oldest worker. And they had to be working full-time, by the way. And the oldest male was 94, and the oldest female was 93, and they were working full-time. So 80, really, you're a spring chicken, aren't you?
Well, I can see that work, if you can do it still physically. I don't know what you're too young, Owen, but I'm just thinking there are some wonderful things about working, aren't there?
Yeah, as long as there's not the pressure. I mean, I worry about the work till you drop culture that's been fostered. And, obviously I'm aware, why would anyone ban or begrudge anyone who wants to keep on working long into their old age? But, what we're seeing in lots of countries is the pension age being pushed ever forward. And that has a big impact when it comes to class, because life expectancy for working class, particularly poorer communities, is significantly lower than it is for richer communities. I mean, there's a gap of like 12 to 13 years. But then when you look into, the class differential, people from, for example, blue-collar backgrounds compared to professional middle-class backgrounds, there's also the healthy life you have. So even then, if you're someone from an affluent background, the amount of time you have as a healthy life where you can enjoy retirement and relax is longer than if you're poorer. So for me, it's a case of, I'm not saying we should ban people from working if they want to in their 80s, but I think there's a growing pressure to kind of expect people to keep on working and not to be able to enjoy a hard-earned retirement, which I think should be the birthright of people in this country. So.
Tom in Barta, hi. Hello, how are you, Tom?
Hello.
Yeah, good. Are you working still?
I'm still working, yes. I'm just getting ready to go.
Give me an idea about your age.
I'm 88.
88. And what are you doing, Tom?
Now I'm sitting in the chair.
You're sitting in your chair.
I've got a shop.
Okay.
I've had a shop. It was my grand's shop, and I took over when I was about, I think, 25 or something like that.
Wow.
It's a sweet shop.
Sweet shop. And you were full-time. Oh, look, we got a picture of you. So you were full-time in there until you were 86, were you?
A bit longer.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. My daughter does a wee turn in it, but I still like going into the shop.
I bet you do. What a wonderful thing.
And I go to the cash and carry with my daughter, and I still go into the shop. You have to watch your money.
When you run a sweet shop, I've always wanted to know, can you eat as many sweets as you like?
Oh, I don't eat much sweets.
You not?
No. I ate 2 cola cubes yesterday. I like a cola cube. Cola cubes.
I really want to do an interview about sweet shops here because I don't think I've got a sweet shop near me, but I know whenever I see one, I get so excited. What's the best selling sweet?
Oh, midget James, a good midget James, good ones.
What about those discuses with sherbet in them?
Aye, flying saucers.
The flying saucers.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And the prawns. The prawns. Don't forget the prawns.
I always like the sour ones.
Yeah. So Tom, how was it? 86. What made you step down at 86, Tom?
I've not stepped down. I still go in.
Right. So you still
do it.
Yeah, not full time.
No. I still work.
All right. What a joy. Where is the shop, Tom? Let's get everyone in there today.
Where my shop is? It's in Renton.
Renton.
A place called Renton. Aye.
Renton, and it's called the Swans, isn't it?
Swan Sweet Shop. Yes.
What about that, Anne? Isn't that wonderful?
It is indeed absolutely wonderful. I love sweet shops too. My grandmother actually ran one until it was bombed out in the war. She ran a sweet shop, and I used to hear lots of stories about how she used to give a few extra sweets to the school.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Tom. Best wishes to you.
Probably politically incorrect now because, it damages the teeth, doesn't it?
Oh, cheer up, Anne. Or take a day off.
No, she's complaining about you.
I know, but she's just like shoehorning something in. Let's just talk about sweet shops without making it all like, let's have a little dig. Come on, Anne. Come on, cheer up. Chirpy.
Okay. It's like someone saying all cake shops should be renamed Diabetes. And you're thinking, well, I know.
I mean, everything in moderation. Not everything in moderation.
No.
Some things you shouldn't have at all. But within reason, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Not like crack.
Well, I think you were... Okay, Sheila, you've got a cold today, haven't you? I can tell it's making you
actually.
It's making you misbehave.
So what makes my voice sounds better? What do you think?
I think
it gives me a certain
really good,
gravitas.
You sound like Harrison Ford. Sheila in Nottinghamshire, hi.
Yeah, that's...
Hello.
So what do you think about working till your 80s?
Well, I think if people feel fit enough, I'd retired for 6 years. I used to work printing photographs at the New York Advertiser. And my husband and I, when we were 68, we were struggling for money. And I said, I'll find a job. And I found one within 2 days. When I'd had my police check, I started. I was a carer in the community. Okay. I did it for 11 and a half years. Wow. And I was up at 5 o'clock every morning, 10 mornings on, 4 off. And then I thought at 79, I thought, about time I retired. They didn't try to persuade me to stay on, but I retired at 79.
Well done. So when you say care in the community, what were you? Where were you outdoors or visiting houses or what?
Oh no, outdoors visiting.
Nice.
in the countryside and everywhere. And I had 11 and a half years. I had 2 days off sick, so I caught a bug off one of my ladies. But I loved it.
Oh,
and I think anyone who wants a job, if they're bored or anything, try being a carer because I think I was probably the oldest in the country since retiring at 79.
Well, you would have had people you were caring for, old men, old ladies who were younger than you.
Oh, yes, yes.
I love that.
Yes,
Brilliant.
one-
Well done.
one
You've
man
got such a
down the
positive
road.
voice. Thank you, Sheila. Take care. Have a good day. John in Dorset, hi.
Hi.
Go for it.
Hello. I'm 88, but the point I wanted to make was that there is a vast store of huge experience and ability going to waste when you bail people out at 65. We're good for the country because we've learned things that it's taken us a lifetime to learn.
Sure.
So I would say that for me personally, I began a life of boredom when I stopped work. Now, you might ask, why did you stop then? And the answer is that work walked away from me, if you take my point.
Because I thought they'd stopped, John, hadn't they stopped enforcing retirement on people? You were able to fight it or not?
Well, I was able to fight it insofar as by that stage I'd become a consultant and was therefore employed by myself.
Yeah.
But the short and long of it was that the work walked away from me because I was 67.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is that the knowledge that we have, that we spent years gaining, is going to waste if we're bailed out any earlier, than we wish to be, and probably why not let everybody, if they wish to, work at least to 80.
All right, thank you, John. That's lovely. Nice to hear from you. Lots of people in there working into their 80s. Pat in Merseyside, you worked till you were 84.
Yes, I did in July. I finished work. I worked in the NHS, Jeremy. Good morning to you and the panel. Yes, I worked 26 years full-time in the NHS. And then when my husband died 21 years ago, I had no intention of going back. I retired, as I said I would, to him at 63. Yeah. And then within 2 weeks, I was back in the NHS because there was a post going and I was bored. And I wanted to get some money for my grandchildren to help them through the schooling and into university and whatever. And I carried on. And then I retired again about 65 or 66,
yes,
as I was asked to. And then I went on a bank. And then they had some injuries, the people that worked with me. One broke a foot, and I went back again on bank staff. Okay. Somebody else broke a back, and then another person broke a foot.
Blimey,
so I remained there until I was 84.
Oh, how amazing. There's a hell of a lot of breakages going on there. That's amazing. And you weren't implicated in any of them, I know. Owen, I suppose for you as a young person, and you are...
Oh, you know what,
but you're not... Are you 30 yet?
As a geriatric, on my 30. I've turned 40.
OK, but...
Some of us age better than others.
You are now listening to this filled with horror because you realise you've got another 45 years of basically arguing with people.
I suppose... I mean,
which is your job, really.
Pretty good summary of my job, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I think I'll spend time on my deathbed thinking I wish I'd spent more time arguing with Anne Widdecombe.
She's taking that well.
I can guarantee that on my deathbed I will not be thinking about Owen Jones.
Oh, well.
I mean, me neither. I was being heavily sarcastic.
Let's not think about those days. Christine in Sheffield, are you still working?
I am still working, yeah.
At the age of?
81.
Brilliant. Well, you sound like a spring chicken compared to some of them. What are you doing, Christine?
It's voluntary work. I've been doing voluntary work probably for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's for the Samaritans.
Oh, OK, so you're answering phones and stuff, are you?
I was answering phones for years, but now I've been processing DBS checks for quite some time. And I've also been the director at Rotherham Samaritans.
All right, meaning you're in the back office, but it sounds as if it's good work, though.
Well, I'm doing it from home.
All right.
I'm working from home on the computer, and I process DBS checks for potential new volunteers.
All right, well, listen, good luck. Thank you, Christine. Wow, and you've got a way to go, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think I have, but I think there's just a very quick point there when she said she was working from home. I think that is going to alter things, and a lot of people will go on working past retirement age.
But you lose the company, that's the trouble. Thank you. Now, Anne has to leave us. Thank you so much, Ms. Widdecombe, for joining us.